Hello everyone, it's HD Quality back with another video. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today we're flying for ANA in the Airbus A320neo going from Aomori in Japan to Sapporo, Chitose. Let's go ahead and go to the overhead panel and check that both batteries are above 25.5 volts. Turn both of those on. The ground power unit. Now that we've called in the ground power unit, let's go ahead and go up here and turn on the external power. Let's do an APU fire test really quick. Sounds good to me. Turn on the APU master switch and then turn on the APU starter. Next thing we're going to do is turn the strobe to auto. Seatbelt signs on, no smoking to auto, emergency exit lights on. While we're over here, let's also turn all of the aiders to nav. Now it says the APU is available. So let's just turn off the external power. Local air pressure is 1005. We'll set that as our altimeter, 1005. Cost index for today's flight is 5. Cruising altitude, flight level 190. So set this to 19,000 feet. Autopilot already manages our vertical speed. Send the boarding information request and boarding start. Initialization request, all good. Now let's go to the flight plan. RJSA departure 1. Insert. RJCC arrival is at runway 1 right. Let's do ILS 1S. No bias. And then insert. Check for flight plan discontinuities and make sure we see clear and then clear it. So if we look at the plan, we can already see it all in its glory. For flaps, we're going to set it to 1 and trim is up 1.8. Oops. 2, 1. Transition altitude will be at 14,000 feet. That's when we'll switch to standard barometric pressure. The boarding is finished. We can go ahead and go to the initialization to the next page, ZFW, and then fuel planning block 4.2. We have 7,000 pounds on base, confirmed. Landing configuration is full flaps, and go around phase is already set for us. Now that boarding is finished and we finished the cargo loading, let's go ahead and close those things. Let's also close the front door. Now that the front door is closed, we can lock it. Go up here, switch to crew supply. Now let's go ahead and we'll go over here and request a pushback.
Brake.
Releasing the parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Turning on predictive wind shear.
Pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
Let's go up here to the overhead panel and do a fire test on both engines. Engine 1. Engine 2. Alright, turn on all of the fuel pumps. Enable APU bleed. Set the engine mode selector to ignition start. And let's start engine master number 2.
Welcome on board.
機内の安全についてご案内します。必ずご覧ください。
Please pay attention to the following safety instructions.
手荷物は重ねないように座席の上の物入れ、または前の座席の下に収納してください。手荷物が滑り出る恐れがあります。
Please place your baggage in the overhead compartment or under the seat in front, and do not stack items on top of each other, as they may fall out.
通路や非常口付近
should block the aisle or exits.
離陸着陸
Engine number 2 is stabilized. Let's start up engine number 1.
To unfasten, raise the flap.
電波を発する状態の電子機器はご使用になれません。
The use of
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
TCAS TARA.
Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a
auto.
good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Go up here to the lights, turn on the beacon and wing. Nav and logo lights also go on. Nose lights to taxi. Check that engines are stabilized, so engine mode selector back to norm. APU bleed off, master switch off. Set flaps to takeoff config, which is flaps 1. Ground spoilers arm. Auto brake max. Chronometer on. Taxi to runway 6. Parking brake released. Spool up engines. Let's get a move on. Let's also increase brightness on navigation display. And keep a ground speed of near 20 knots. I think this is going downhill, so that's why we're increasing in speed a bit. Taxi all the way to the end of runway 6. So, based on the windsock, is it really 12 knots? Yeah, just about 10 to 12 knots of wind. Ooh, our ground speed is all the way up 30. Let's go ahead and hold short of runway 6, shall we? Parking brake set. Go up here. Landing lights go on. Nose lights take off. Cabin check. Forward. Aft. Takeoff config test. Takeoff config normal. Let's set the trim to up 1.8. Okay. Parking brake release. Runway 6 confirmed. Spool up engine slowly. Slowly but surely. Because we're gonna take off. Runway 6. Knots. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. S speed, flaps up. Just follow the flight director and put lever back to climb. Autopilot 1 engaged. Let's calculate for a top of descent. Top of descent, they say, is before Idemi. Should be at 3,000 by Yotai. 50 nautical miles before the target. Passing 10,000 feet, landing lights go off. Nose lights off also. We've reached the transition altitude of 14,000 feet. We're gonna pull to standard. And we're nearing our cruising altitude of flight level 190. Now reaching flight level 190, we'll go up here and turn off the seatbelt sign. We're getting closer and closer to the top of our descent. I'm going to engage selected airspeed mode and slow down to 230 knots. Also, I'm going to go to the overhead panel and turn the seatbelt signs on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now making our final approach. Please securely fasten your seatbelts. Please return your seat and table to the original position. Please place your baggage under the seat in front of you. Please refrain from using the lavatory. Thank you.
We're going to set this to 3,000 feet. Decrease the vertical speed. And engage it. We may experience some slight turbulence as we fly through the storm, but that's to be expected. Ice detected. Let's go ahead and turn on the anti-ice for wing and engines. Okay, past the transition altitude, set it back to the selection. For Sapporo Chitose 1009. We're flying into a weird cloud system ahead of us. Passing 10,000 feet. Landing lights go back on. Ice is not detected anymore. Turn off the anti-ice. 20 minutes into the flight and we're heading for Point Neighbor. We're starting to see the ocean here.
Thank you.
Just reached 3,000 feet. Yep, I went down a little bit too early. Here we are heading towards the point of Yote. And we're starting to go inwards. We'll be taking a left turn soon. LS on. First notch of flaps. Set this down to 200. 1 right. Manage speed mode on. Next notch of flaps. spoilers arm. Landing lights on. Lights on. Check forward and aft. Set it to full flaps. Autopilot disengaged. Now manually flying the aircraft. Bit lower. Yep, increase the thrust a little bit, please. Just a little bit more. A little bit off course at the moment. Okay. A little bit off to the left here. Landing gear down. Downwards. 2 red, 2 white. Down. Slowly, slowly. Down more. Up, up.
500.
Up.
500.
Follow the diamonds.
400. 300. 300.
Gonna go a little bit higher on this
200.
one. And down.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. Retard.
Reversers. Manual brakes. vacate the runway over here on this taxiway. LS off, flight director off. Now crossing this runway. Stop. Parking brake set. Spoilers retract and flaps back up. Spoil up engines and taxi to the gate. Let's go ahead and start up the APU.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have landed at Chitose Airport. Please remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Take care when opening the overhead compartment. From now on, you can use electronic devices that emit radio waves. However, please refrain from talking on.
Let's go here to gate 12. We are gate 12.
And Hawaiian Airlines. We look forward to serving you again. Thank you.
APU is available, engine masters off. Chronometer off, 37-minute flight. Beacon lights off, wing lights off, nav and logo off. Emergency exit lights off. Seatbelt signs off. Get the jet bridge going, cargo door going. Anyways guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me where I should go next down in the comments section. And as always, stay safe.